And we are officially live for this 11th online poetry reading. Thank you all for joining. Thank you if you are watching. It's such a great pleasure to have so many people in here tonight or today. For Barry, it's early in the morning. For some other, it's late in the evening, and we still have people coming in. That's wonderful. And the first person to read tonight will be Lydia Carelli. I hope I did say her name right. Prego.
Hello from Torino, Northern Italy. I'm Lydia Chiarelli, and I am happy and honored to join this Spring and World Poetry Day reading. We are living in dark and difficult times, and for this reason, I have chosen a poem about light. My father was a pioneer of public lighting in the 60s, and this poem is dedicated to him. Enchanted Garden. And then there were the lights that lit slowly in the garden of 1,000 colors. They lit warm, vibrant, on the stones of the paths, on the petals of the tulips, on the water of fountains caressed by a gentle breeze. The lights switched on for me as I walked on the flowered avenues, and subtle fragrances wrapped me up in the silence of the night. Then the flags, moved by the wind, became the variegated forms of an incomplete painting, cluster of old memories that today are recomposing while I hold tight in my fingers the last dried rose of May. Thank you.
Thank you, Lydia. Do
My pleasure.
you have another poem you would like to read tonight?
No, I prefer to listen to the other poets. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you very much. Then second poem for tonight has been sent via audio from Sandrine Davin in France. So for the people who are watching, you will now be hearing and seeing her poem. Sorry for the people in the room. I don't have the technical possibility to have it shown to you at the same time.
De cendre et de rouille, l'horizon fleurit. La terre à vif montre ses os. Seul l'écho de ta voix en sourde résonance.
And that was the very short poem from Sandrine Davin. Thank you very much. And now we will have a live reading from the poems of two people who sent us their poems and asked Igor to read them. So it's Ensar Bukaric and Niels, whose name I don't remember. I'm really sorry. Igor, you go.
Niels Hav, yes. So now I will read the first poem. I will read on English and Bosnian because it's short, and the second one I will read only on English. The name of the first poem from Ensar Bukaric, a poet from Bosnia and Herzegovina, is Soldiers. Under the blue vastness, in the stance steady, they disappear, people like us, carved in for the mosaic of the gloomy history of their ancestors, trained on their backs for those who celebrate the triumphs. Under the flags of favorite colors, with eerie sounds of ceremonial songs, they get lost in the twilight mist. In a strange cramp they depart, happy to glory and others to death, to the land of unfortunate, to the coast of foreign customs, into desolation, through which their ghosts will wander in vain, and never any peace for them until the sun and the moon cease to be. This one was translated from Bosnian into English by Haris Bukaric. Now I will read the same on briefly on Bosnian. Vojnici, pod beskrajem plavetnim u stavu mirno nestaju ljudi poput nas isklesani za mozaik turobne istorije predaka svojih, istrenirani na naličju svome za one što trijumf slave. Pod zastavama najdražih boja, uz jezive zvuke svečane pjesme, gube se u izmeglici sutana. U čudnome grču polaze sretni u slavu, a drugi u smrt, u zemlju nesretnika, obalu tuđih običaja, u pustoš kojom će duhovi njihovi zaludom lutati i nikada smiraju njima dok sunce i mjeseca bude. And the second poem I chose to read from the poet Ensar Bukaric is a film to remember, and I chose it because Bosnia and Herzegovina has really a great film makers like Denis Tanovic or Aida Beganovic, my colleague, the poet, and many others. Like I really like the latest movie, which was a big hit from Bosnia, which was Quo Vadis Aida. Film to remember. To turn on the TV set and start watching movie starring James Belushi in a leading role through Bosnian Federation entity TV. My TV set receives only its signal, is a very decent way to fall asleep, tiring way, which was like a mature Mediterranean pomegranate. Murder scene is supposed to happen on the small screen. Victim should be a good-looking young woman, but it does not happen. My eyelids are heavy, while poetry boils out of me in a very peculiar way. Maybe it is just what Vesna would want. I don't know how much longer shall I endure awake without sleeping. The midnight has passed a long time ago, on the day when my son cried for the first time and my wife learned what a delivery means. They say men would not be able to endure such a pain. It is time to turn a new page. A new dawn will come soon, in a day of gentler, good mood. Through a window I heard a distant shot. Execution of stray dogs using primitive methods was announced. In the evening, before sorrow cries of poor creatures were heard, I guess they felt their bad fortune beforehand. Film is somewhere halfway through. Don't ask me about its contents. I don't know it. I finalized my verses already. Will somebody understand at all that these are verses? I need sleep. Great day is ahead of me, full of pictures and sounds to remember. Tonight still I'm sleeping alone. And this poem from Bosnian into English was translated by Mr. Nihad Mesic River. And now I will read you the poem from the second poet, who is from Denmark, and his name is Niels Hav. And first I will read the poem on English and afterwards on Macedonian. And he surprised me because I don't know who translated his poem on my language, but anyway, the translation is excellent. The name of the poem is In Defense of Poets. What are we to do about the poets? Life's rough on them. They look so pitiful dressed in black. Their skin blue from internal blizzards. Poetry is a horrible disease. The infected walk about complaining. Their screams pollute the atmosphere like leaks. From atomic power stations of the mound, it's so psychotic. Poetry is a tyrant. It keeps people awake at night and destroys marriages. It draws people out to desolate cottages in midwinter, where they sit in pain wearing earmuffs and thick scarves. Imagine the torture. Poetry is a pest, worse than gonorrhea, a terrible abomination. But consider poets, it's hard for them. Bear with them. They're hysterical as if they're expecting twins. They gnash their teeth while sleeping, they eat dirt and grass. They stay out in the howling wind for hours, tormented by astounding metaphors. Every day is a holy day for them. Oh, please, take pity on the poets. They are deaf and blind. Help them through traffic where they stagger about with their invisible handicap, remembering all sorts of stuff. Now and then, one of them stops to listen for a distant siren. Show consideration for them. Poets are like insane children who've been chased from their homes by the entire family. Pray for them. They're bone unhappy. Their mothers have cried for them. Sought the assistance of doctors and lawyers until they had to give up for fear of losing their own minds. Oh, cry for the poets. Nothing can save them, infested with poetry like secret lepers. They're incarcerated in their own fantasy world, a gruesome ghetto filled with demons and vindicative ghosts. When on a clear summer's day, the sun shining brightly, you see a poor poet come wobbling out of the apartment block, looking pale as a cadaver and disfigured by speculations, then walk up and help him, tie his shoelaces, lead him to the park, and help him sit down on a bench. In the sun, sing to him a little, buy him an ice cream, and tell him a story, because he's so sad. He's completely ruined by poetry. And this one was translated from Danish into English by Piki Brask and Patrick Friesen. And now I will read you the same poem on Macedonian, which I don't know who translated it. Maybe the poet knows Macedonian, and maybe he wrote it also, or he translated it himself, or he wrote it directly on this language. Во одбрана на поетите. Што да правиме со поетите? Животот не им е лесен. Изгледаат толку бедно така облечени во црно. Кожата им е модра од внатрешни меќави. Поезијата е ужасна болест. Заразените одат наоколу и се жалат. Нивните извици ја загадуваат атмосферата како истекувања од ментални нуклеарки. Тоа е толку психотично. Поезијата е тиранин, таа ги држи луѓето будни навечер и уништува бракови. Ги одвлечкува сред зима во напуштените викендички, тука седат потиснати од болка со штитници за уши и дебели шалови. Каква тортура! Поезијата е пакост, полоша од гонорејата, ужасна епидемија. Но помислете на поетите, им е тешко, имајте разбирање за нив. Истерични се како трудници што треба да родат близнаци. Шкрипат со забите во сон, јадат земја и трева. Стојат со часови надвор на ветрот што завива, измачувани од несфатливи метафори. За нив секој ден е празник. Ве молам, смилувајте им се на поетите. Тие се глуви и слепи. Помогнете им на пешачки додека се тетерават. Со нивниот невидлив хендикеп, тие се сеќаваат на се и сешто. Од време на време еден од нив ќе застане и оддалеко ја слуша сирената на итна помош. Имајте разбирање за нив. Поетите се како душевно болни деца, избркани од дома од целото семејство. Молете се за нив. Тие се родени несреќни, нивните мајки плачеле над нив, барале помош од доктори и адвокати, додека не се откажале за да го спасат својот разум. Ох, плачете за поетите. Нема спас за нив. Одбележани од поезијата како со тајна лепра, тие се затворени во својот свет на фантазии и мрачно гето полно демони и зли духови. Кога на еден јасен, од сонцето осветен летен ден, ќе здогледаш сиромав поет, како излегува од зградата мртовечки блед и разобличен од силното размислување, приди му и помогни му. Врзи му ги врвките, одведи го до парк и седни го на клупа на сонце, запај му нешто, купи му сладолед и раскажи му некоја приказна, бидејќи е толку тажен. Поезијата целосно го уништила. This was from our dear colleague Niels Haff from Denmark.
Thank you for your reading, Igor. Thank you to both the poets for sending us those pieces. And now we will have the pleasure to hear Maria Krivokapik. Krivokapik, I hope I said that right.
Yeah, it's almost right. Ja se zovem Marija Krivokapić. Ja sam iz Crne Gore. My name is Marija Krivokapić and I come from Montenegro. I'll read 2 of my poems. They are not too long. The first poem is called Your Eye. Your eye. My palm runs over the picture and knows you feel it. Perhaps you didn't like taking photos. You left me a dot in a mountain landscape. Where was it? I'd say an early spring. My new red skirt drowned in the gentle green. Maybe there is no avoiding this quest. Finding myself forever. I enlarge the image, focus detail, spy into your eye. And the second poem is called Season Ritual. And I have devoted this one to my sister who is sitting at this meeting. Seasonal ritual. In her white skirt, she whirled, and where the skirt outlined the sphere, the story entered, and she greeted the dead with a handful of hands and marked the living with bauxite by the mountain road. And for the unborn, she splashed the little river into the drawn form of the sun rays. And for the ghost,
Good evening.
two of you,
I am Italian.
sorry, do you hear me?
Italian.
Yes, we hear you.
No?
Right.
Yes, we hear you, but we have Ron Myers just joined, but he had his microphone on. That's why.
Shall I repeat?
Yes, please.
All right. So from the very beginning. Okay. So my name is, ja se zovem Marija Krivokapić i dolazim iz Crne Gore. My name is Marija Krivokapić and I come from Montenegro. Now, I will read 3 short poems. The first poem is called Your Eye. Your eye. My palm runs over the picture and knows you feel it. Perhaps you didn't like taking photos. You left me a dot in a mountain landscape. Where was this? I'd say an early spring. My new red skirt drowned in the gentle green. Maybe there is no avoiding this quest. Finding myself forever. Enlarged image. Focus detail. Spy into your eye. The second poem is called Season Ritual, and I devote this poem to my sister who is sitting at this meeting. She will know. Season Ritual. In her white skirt she whirled, and where the skirt outlined the sphere, the story entered. And she greeted the dead with a handful of ants, and marked the living with bauxite by the mountain road. And for the unborn she splashed a little river into the drawn form of the sun rays. And for the ghosts she tore furiously bloodied military underpants into dried clumps of grass. And then with her bare foot she raised everything and curled up in the circle of ritual. That's it. And then there is this poem which turned actually into a song. And it goes like this. A drop cups the house cups the heart cups an oak, the oak cups the resin cups the coal cups the amber cups a butterfly, the butterfly cups a drop. A drop cups the house cups the heart cups an oak, the oak cups the resin cups the coal cups the amber cups a butterfly, the butterfly cups a drop. That's it. Thank you.
Wonderful. You had someone playing the guitar by your side.
Yes, but I can hear him very well. I think that, yeah, here he is.
Hi.
Okay.
Hello. Thank you for accompanying Maria. It was great.
It was my pleasure. I like sharing.
Ma reții de mi dała sfida.
Okay, I'm enjoying this meeting. It's great.
Thank you so much for taking part.
Thank you.
Up next, we have another submission received per mail from Uri, who is from Cuba. And for those who are watching, we will now be playing the short clip sent from Uri in Cuba.
Hola, soy Yuray Tolentino Evia, poeta cubana que vive en Guira de Melena, en Cuba, y desde mi pueblo quiero hacer un llamado a la paz, un no a la guerra, un no a tantas muertes silenciosas por vanidades e intereses mezquinos de muchos hombres. Quiero agradecer a los organizadores del evento en este Día Mundial de Poesía y de mi libro 90 millas, Diario de un Emigrante, voy a compartir con ustedes estos poemas. 10 millas. Con la piel llena de astillas y el aire de los potreros salí. Puse los pies en el agua mientras el miedo detenía las olas, sigiloso, con cara de amigo, el mejor de los amigos. El miedo canonizó la sonrisa del lobo y yo fingí ser el más fiel de todos los corderos del rebaño. 57 millas. Muchas veces se me acabaron las palabras para defender la patria, veces de discutir con mi hermano y dar la razón a las ideas antes que a la voz de la sangre. Creí en la utopía, en los lirios silvestres a orillas de la carretera. Hoy mi hermano está muerto. No tengo cómo decirle que tenía razón. Tantos abrazos que se rompieron entre él y yo por un país que se hizo polvo entre las manos de todos. Desde Guira de Melena, desde Cuba, digo no a la guerra y digamos un sí por la paz y que la poesía nos una cada día más. Gracias.
Bonsoir. Good evening. My name is Lydie Johan. I am French. Je vais lire two poems for this night. Gouttelette de rosée que fut votre baiser, perle à peine posée sur le pétale froissé de vos lèvres asséchées, que déjà elles disparaissaient dissoutes dans l'infinité des esquisses voluptés. À l'aube amoureuse goûtée, où l'éphémère n'est qu'éternité. The second poem. Je ne t'aime pas parce que tu assures. Je me bouleverse quand tu avances, tremblant telle une feuille à l'automne sur la branche du sol. Je ne t'aime pas parce que tu affirmes. Je me trouble quand tu doutes, secoué au cœur de la tempête dans le courant de tes certitudes. Je ne t'aime pas parce que tu gagnes. Je m'émeus quand tu tombes, tourbillonnant telle la neige à la frontière de l'hiver au pied du sol. Je ne t'aime pas parce que tu luttes. Je chavire quand tu lâches prise sur la vague du désir sans possession dans l'onde infinie de l'abandon. Thank you.
Well, good evening. I'm Italian. My poem is in Italian. From hello? Well, in Italian. Siamo incerti a spiare il mattino nell'autunno che sbianca di nebbia la strada. Nel silenzio precario dell'alba si consuma l'attesa del giorno. Alla sera la stessa incertezza ritorna, ma il silenzio è diverso, saturato da gesti e parole. Scalza, corre la notte a rubare la luce ubriaca dei lampioni di strada. Non ci sono più stelle a guidare il mattino. Thank you. Thank you.
Ce l'ho anche più versi da leggo, signora? No? Ce l'ho più poesia di lei? No, presumo no. I guess no.
Hello, sorry about the technical difficulties. I haven't used Microsoft Teams before, so I had to download it. And yeah, I have, if there's time, I have 2 poems. The first one is called Ojo Caliente, New Mexico. Excuse me. I wanted to bring you back to life for friends who never knew you, who didn't know about our wild pilgrimages to the Four Corners region of the desert Southwest. Like that timeless time in Ojo Caliente, when the sun-weathered old woman of the first people confided the secret site of an Anasazi Pueblo on the stark, forbidding plateau looming nearby. We hiked that arid landscape a long time before coming to the rubble of old walls and round kiva foundations, and wandered among the thousands of gray pottery shards, many with black and white staircase patterns, climbing to where? As the bowl of night fell fast, we knew we had strayed too far into the wild, away from our city boy comfort zones. We anxiously beat a hasty retreat in the sand through the human-like shapes of the cacti, tall silhouettes against the spirit road of the Milky Way. At site number 5 on our Anna mystery tour, we descended into the jumbled lava flow of the ancient Arroyo painted by Georgia O'Keeffe, the night-blooming cactus in flowering glory. We gingerly navigated through stick figures, spirit birds, and sun wheels pecked into the varnished stone, enigmatic messages shot like arrows across the coiled serpent of time. Then you gasped, looked down, and my God, a fat red snake slithered in the gaps between the jumble of basalt stepping stones, at least 6 feet of hypnotic slither. And I felt jumbled, and you felt jumbled, and the whole world felt volcano jumbled, but later, never happier, soaking with you in the sacred mineral springs of Ojo Caliente. That's the first one. Okay. Yes, this one, trying new directions here, and this is a very new one called The Lightning Storms of Venus. And now what do I have to show for it? Some lost folk tales, a few apocryphal legends, faint memories of sacred inebriations, randomly cast oracles, spectral visitations, and loves at first sight from the golden age of my dim youth. The ecstatic visions and ancient cosmologies, fortuitous astral declinations, irrational soul stirrings, deep fugitive feelings, the thrill of wild pilgrimages into unspoiled nature, far away from the world of cold reason. What happened to the muse of those rotating seasons? My fertility god, my ancestral hero, my cool male Venus, so worthy of ritual adoration. Fallen Adonais, Lord Entheos, reply to us through perpetual night like the lightning storms of Venus. Who can say why so many weighted atoms swerved me like a pawn in his direction? His luminous blue eyes that could have launched 1,000 ships, casting a spell, making me act the fool of unbridled emotion, without shame or self-judgment. Finally, I thought this was it, the blissful true love sung about by the hopeless romantics I had only read about dreamily in the limestone cloisters of Bloomington, Indiana. Their overheated passions absorbed by romantic osmosis up from the pages through my fingertips, rushing through my veins and the very fibers of my being. Yet somewhere, somehow along that deep timeline, I lost those expansive, cosmic feelings of love that flashed turbulently inside me like the lightning storms of Venus from time to time. Ah, foolish, youthful enthusiasms, filling my empty vessel, elevating me to rare states of being, then bringing me down hard again to pick up the pieces. Now, on this clear, crisp night, in this transparent tower of artificial beauty and hard right angles, Adonais is silent, sending no oracles of love or broken text messages. So organized and efficient in this current incarnation in the gig economy, I forge ahead on the Dharma road as if those swirling genii of desire never possessed me, forcing me to do their amorous bidding. Was it even real to begin with, or just the product of some imbalanced neurochemistry? Strange potions of alchemy buried at unsounded depths in the waxy brain zones of secret machinations and the lightning storms of Venus. More rational now, I throw myself into the daily routine, turning the wheels of commerce, rededicating myself to the task at hand. Thank you. Thank you. Sure. My pleasure. I'm enjoying it.
Hello, my friends. This is my poem for Ukraine, actually two short ones. With all of my prayers and good wishes, we all have friends in Ukraine and we all want the war to end. Here are two short poems. The first is called Bomb Sirens and Refugee Crisis. Bomb siren pierces the air. Bomb siren pierces the air, sharp and shrill. Hide somewhere. The air thick with smoke as Freedom Square just burst into flames. Don't you feel the choke? Don't you feel the choke, gasping for air? Oh, you're just watching on television. You're only watching on television, including the refugee crisis in making. Dear peace, do arrive. This is the second poem. Dear peace, do arrive. Peace where children can happily go to school and return safe, where schools run all right and none of the conditions are so tight as to cause rupture. Peace where fields can ripen their grains and flowers can smile without stains. We long for that peace, dear peace, to arrive. Dear peace, to arrive in Ukraine. Good wishes. We wish the very best to the Ukrainian president. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much for inviting me. I also want to go on about the subject of the moment, the war in Ukraine, and somehow I want to read you a poem that Lucilla already heard it in Italian today. Now she will hear it in English, about the background a little bit of this war that, in my opinion, started long time ago with the fall of the Berlin Wall. So the origins of this war are in history. The old wall in Berlin, impossible to climb over, did not collapse. They sold it piece by piece. Concrete steps demolished, exhibited as trophies in museums, while the fragments, bloody gadgets, are dispersed throughout the world and multiply in a flagrant war pandemic. Thinking, reasoning, critical spirit overtaken by primordial instincts. And we just want peace. The good ones and the bad ones, set one against the other like two repellent magnets. Peace, an important word, turned upside down, twisted, humiliated, bleeding, suffering, raped for years, eaten away by termites. Only an empty shell remains. And still, we all just want peace. Thank you very much.
Hello, thank you. I'm glad to be here and thank you for having me. Greetings from Trento, even though I'm originally from Skopje. Hi, Lucilla. Okay, so I will read 3 shorter poems only in English, if that's okay, in translation by Zoran Anchevsky. September. It was a nice day, the day when I drowned. It was a sunny August, and many babies were born. Their arms stretched out to the ceilings, crying with fear, "We come in peace," as a warning. It was a nice day, the day when I drowned. It was a sunny August, and it was too hot. I could never bear heat. I entered the water, but forgot about the stones they put in my pockets to prevent me from flying. They say some stones put poets in their pockets when they wish to drown. Hands. Me and Time run across a cornfield. We run holding hands, we wallow along, run in circles, and as we hurry ahead, the earth beneath our bare feet turns to asphalt, and the corn turns to hunger. Me and Time still run, but now our feet bleed, and we no longer hold hands. And the third one, which is called Ingrate. And what am I supposed to do with this gun? I wouldn't want to seem ungrateful, but I would have preferred a bike or a book on houseplants. Here, maybe a dog. That would have been wonderful. You could have just surprised me with a cake. I would have been thrilled. But you see, I'm really not sure what to do with this gun, which you have so carefully and caringly placed in my hand. Thank you, I guess. Don't worry. I'm sure I'll find some use for it. Thank you.
Things stop. There is a day before, a day after, then and now, which changes in an instant. This is the moment I wonder about. The tractor in the field, its engine warm yet, and the farmer leaving it there to dissolve into the earth over time. Time. Similarly, the pickup at the back of the cornfield. Who decided it need never run again? Things left and forgotten, and this forgetting, an act of will. This is what I wonder about. Why? The list goes on. The wheelbarrow left to rot behind the garage, its plywood sides split and swelling with dampness, full yet with weeds you pulled from your garden, Mom. In what moment did you decide that was the last time for you? I imagine you felt as solitary then as your bean mocks are now, in the soft light on Dad's workbench, clumped yet with the hummus from that last day. Were your lungs tired after a day in the garden, and what would be your last day fending for the flowers while Dad watched from the bench that stands there empty now, its stain blistered and peeling in the unforgiving sun? Though for a time I cared for your flowers for you, as you would watch from your bedroom window. You joked with me, and I laughed, though you were dying. You turned from your barrow. I turned toward you. Tractors, trucks, barrows. How it is outside. I come inside now and find your needlework stuffed in a bean tote in your closet, jammed tight between a heating duct and the wall. I pull, and there it is, the eye of a wolf embroidered to life. There is a soul in this fabric, yours. But a day came to tell you you would not finish this, and you put it away. You could not throw it out, but you left it to be found. I had to work for it, working hard to free it from that hidden space, unlike the tractor, the truck, the barrow. And the cancer cap, a nylon floral covering with a shirred panel to cover the neck. You stuffed that deep in the drawer of your mother's end table. Cancer would take your life before you would see yourself decked out as a gypsy fortune teller. You put it away when you were alone. You would never be a cancer patient or a survivor. You would fight this and let go on your terms in your time. Time. And so you did. Outside the window, a neighborhood kid cuts the grass with your lawnmower. For how much longer? That will stop too. The boy will walk away from it and leave the grass to grow around the rustic chairs and table you placed under the cedar, a cool place from which to admire the garden. It will happen in a precise moment. The clock will cease ticking, and memory will lift itself skyward. We will imagine the life that came here to rain down a solitude, to know you have lived, but will not always. The immense design is waiting for you, but you needn't clean up before you go. Perhaps mustn't, that we may find you in time, in the turning. A feast. Sunflowers, their stems severed from their roots, nevertheless follow the sun. A gift wrapped in tissue and resting on the front passenger seat of my Beetle, these blossoms seek light as I make my way down the interstate, from Connecticut to New York to Pennsylvania to you, Mom. In the vase on your table, cut sunflowers continue their journey, changing the arrangement minute by minute. In a week, I will return. I will take the flowers, their heads bowed, their work inside, done. I will put the flowers outside. Birds will come to feast on the seeds. Flowers again, soon.
Thank you very much indeed. My name is Barry Brown, B-R-O-W-N-E, from Australia. I I've decided, because it's springtime in your part of the world, I've got 3 or 4, but this one seems particularly nice to me. Promise of spring. Heavy clouds gather and burst. Slanting rain pounds already sodden earth. Dog owners wearily plod the streets, collars upturned against the chill, seeking solace in their thick scarves. Magpies stare mournfully, specks of mud adorning ruffled plumage, against a backdrop of sloshing traffic. Rooftops steam in the watery sun, doors open to welcome in the promise of spring. I had a lot of those, but I decided to write one. It's a little bit different. It's called Regarding the Coronavirus. What does the future hold? How can anybody tell? A virus dragged to us by broken teeth by the hounds of hell. It has no favourites at all, but it did prefer old. It strikes down with no mercy and families cry in pain. Gods can be forgiving, but now it takes the children, while the mothers and families kneel and raise their hands to heaven. But bigger than the sickness, how it turns out friends to strangers. The ruction in connection proves to be the greatest danger. This one very quickly is about my youngest daughter. She's 25 and she lives in Melbourne, and she rang me up. We consistently talk each other because I brought her up from 3 hours old. And we've obviously got a pretty good connection. And she rang me up a fortnight ago and said, Dad, I'm coming up. I said, honey, you can't. She said, why? I said, I can't let you in. You have to look for me through the windows and things like that. She said, I'm coming. So I wrote this after she left, and I found out why. A white chair outside my window, not empty yesterday. Sitting there was an angel with smiling eyes. We laughed, we chatted, and thoughts of yesteryear helped bring back memories that helped fill in the missing years. We laughed and cried too. The cut finger prior to the basketball final, the blonde boy who loved with his heart. Songs in the background confirmed the memories, and for each memory there is a song. For the girl gone from the empty chair, you are my lifetime song. Just very quickly, if I've got a second, I didn't know why she was ringing me, but her fiance rang me a couple of days later and said that the surgeon had said she'd got cancer and that she wasn't very well, and she'd made the decision to not tell me. But thank God she had the operation a couple of weeks ago and she's fine. So I'm quite glad I wrote that. Thank you very much indeed.
Good evening, everybody. I'm from Slovenia. I will read my poem in Serbian. Zbog slabog uklapanja negdje prekipi, negdje fali, nekako slučajno omani, malo u prostoru, malo u vremenu, jedino tjesan i krivudav drum može nas odvesti u život, ali ne smijemo da ga zatrimo i urušimo. Osjećanja kad malo više ojačaju, da pucaju, ne možeš proći pored njih, a da ne čuješ kako dahću, krekeću ariju svijesti, pjevom pječavo upozorava da na grebenu uvenuća apokalipsa očekuje raširenih ruku da nas gurne u razapeno ždrijelo propasti koju prizivamo, jer ovaj život živimo rasipno i neodgovorno. Merci. Maybe one more. Operem ruke, a pomisli koje dolaze i bol koji nosim ostaje. Operem ruke, a desi se što se dešava, cinizam reži i osuđuje. Operem ruke u užarenim zorama, zabranama bez razloga i svim nepravdama. Operem ruke na nepoznatom kraju, a masku stavim onom ko sa mnom razgovara, ruke čiste, a maska prljava. Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, I hope you can hear me okay. Greetings from Wales in the UK. It's been a beautiful spring-like day today, so it seems very appropriate to read my spring poems. I'm going to start with a poem called Canticle of the Earth, which I will start it with a traditional Easter hymn and then go straight into the poem. The hymn's called Now the Green Blade Rises. Now the green blade rises from the buried grain, which that in dark earth many years has lain. Love lives again, that where the dead has been. Love is come again, like wheat that springs up green. In the grave they laid him, love whom we had slain, thinking that never he would wake again. Laid on the earth like rain that sleeps unseen. Love is come again like weed that springs up green. Love is come again like weed that springs up green. Nature is my first gospel. The sound as the sea resonates symphonies from singing sands, clash of pebbles and crashing waves cleaving cliffs, the sting of salt water streaming eyes to sun rising from her disguise of darkness. Curling clouds curvaceous with rain, pregnant swell of buds burst to blossoms, a muted purple haze of mist that rolls in on beaten heath. The liminal place between earth and water, elemental, the sinking, sucking tussock grass, sway of bulrush, whisper of reeds. If I close my eyes and really listen, I can hear the energies of the earth pulsate beneath my feet, roots that quiver and shoots that stab towards light, the blinding dawn of birth and dusk of death, and the first breath of every tender living thing. If I go deeper, I can feel the dizzying sway of the planets spinning in perfect motion to harmonious sun and moon, the slow, quick, slow within the profound echo, nerves, synapses, and electrons dancing syncopated praise to the rhythms of Earth's turning. Do I have time for another one? I have another short one. This is more a descriptive poem. I live close to a wildfowl and wetlands sanctuary, and so this was written after visiting that. It's called Whispering Reeds. A swan with frozen feathers plats the willow with her beak in hope of spring. The tender unveiling of a fern unfurling her soft bejeweled garden of green. Playful fingers of white wild wind pluck fluff from pointed bulrush and send it shivering into the sky. The curlew's cry, the wind-tipped heron whirls and dips to plunge flurry of frost and feather and the deeper, unfathomable things. Hawk slices the sky to catch clean and deep on silent talons. Only her shadow betrays her. Spinning cloak of sun, throb of rain, and battleship sky. Teach me the secret art of silence. Thank you.
Yes, I'm here. I apologize for being late. I think I got the time wrong. And it's wonderful to see people that I know here and to hear people that I don't know. And it's really wonderful to hear work in other languages with or without translation. I mean, it's just French and from other places. Our dead are different from yours. 30 years ago, construction halted on I-279. Down from Penn Brewery and North Catholic, bones were found where Veckley Church had stood. 727 dead were sifted from the earth and cataloged, while backhoes, pavers, politicians, and lawyers stood by. The Veckley remains were separated for burial and laid with a single marker. Present were scientists, reporters, and Dorothy Davies, baptized at Veckley Church 80 years before. No living relative was ever found, but the Veckley dead were on protected ground and respected. Last fall, the Standing Rock Sioux found sacred ground on the Dakota Access Pipeline path. Now their dead lie pulverized beneath an easement and 30-inch pipe cradled in cement. That's America. I have a second poem if there's time. And I think there's this significant echo. If those who have their mics on maybe could check and turn them off. This poem is written in 2 registers. You can't see it on the page, so I'm going to snap my fingers when it switches from one to the other. Excuse me. For no reason. The right carotid, a vascular case with stroke risk, so I am here. For no reason. Her heart stops, her brain too. I know you from your world and scripture. You drowned everything when you repented the brutal world you had made. You murdered Lot's wife for remembering her city as you burned it down. What's her crit? When it comes back low, where's the hemorrhage? He cracks her sternum, closed heart massage, minute after minute, no rhythm or hope. You glorified Moses, who lay in wait to murder. You hardened Pharaoh's heart to alibi your slaughter, Egypt's firstborn to the last, calf, kid, lamb, and child. When I take over, the bone edges grind under my hands, her pliant heart beneath, soft and silent, but then living, pulsing, pushing back. Time after time, you boasted, I do this, so you know how mighty I am. Half her brain returned. They gave blood, placed a pacer and an assist pump, got her off the table alive, but no further. How can I find you, righteous and trustworthy, love you or even fear and obey you? It's 100 generations since you've spoken. Since then, that surgeon turned to cosmetics, varicose veins. I work with numbers. They don't push back or need reasons. That's for no reason.
So the first poem is from the new book, which technically is coming out on the 29th of March, so a spring release. I have the galley copy in hand. I want to say that I am indebted. I wrote this book in Maria's apartment. So thank you, Maria. This poem is Let Love Lead. Left there, all of us. Let love lead, let hand that pummeled rest, let scowl rest, face relieve, let shoulders locked high, tight recede, let feet cracked, worn ease, let back stiff, sore, bent open, let lungs swell breath like ocean, let all of us, all of us, all of us, let all of us be unbroken. Take heart, earth hears every tremble, touch, feels each foot, listens now, bring her justice, protection, peace. And I would like to read a very spring poem called Harpstrings out of my collection Streaming. It is a palindrome for spring. Harpstrings. Sweet rain on old growth sweeps past in fanning sheets. This morning each veil brings joy, like someone strumming. Mist releasing song falling to branch above hummingbird, dashing in out, grabbing nectar in the wet, wet music, dashing in out, grabbing nectar in the wet, wet music, mist releasing song falling to branch above hummingbird. This morning, each veil brings joy, like someone strumming. Sweet rain on old growth sweeps past in fanning sheets. And the final poem from Blood Run, which is it's a book of persona poems for a sacred site that I fought the state for protection of and won. So this was also court testimony. And here's a red-winged blackbird in the spring. Feet firmly perch the thinnest stalks reeds bulrush, until all at once they attend my female form, streaked throat, brownness. Three now fly equidistant around me, flashing. Each in turn calls territorial trills, beckons to us, Okali, Okali. He spreads his wings, extends an inner muscle, quivering red, upper bands uniquely bolden. She turns away each suitor, minds herself my audience, and selects another to consider. He in turn quiver trills. Leave for insects, perhaps one male will follow, maybe a few brood of young, line a summertime ahead. For now, silver maple samaras, wing wind, spread clusters along with mine and renew the prairie. As spring and summer close, I leave dragonflies, damselflies, butterflies, mosquitoes, moths, spiders, and crickets for grain and seed. Sunflower, join thousands to flock the sky. Grackles, blackbirds, cowbirds, starlings, swarm like distant smoke, clouds rise. Blackbird. Thank you.
If I may, yes, I would be a pleasure. I am sorry I was out. I got the invitation, but I was not in my country, so it was impossible for me to send the poems on time. I'm really sorry for that. Okay, I will read, in English directly. Fed out. There is perhaps redemption in the primal gesture, in the red blackberry that surrounds the lily. Behold, this is the man conquering with stones and clubs, spilling seed and raping, steadfast in his crumbling constructs, in his empty vessel, who in turn in the ends bends over, astonished, into the unknown. Another one. Somewhere at the edge of the kingdom, dissonant shreds intertwine again, profane trajectories, curved lines that tear puppies of blood, while the bright dream of a single home stumbles on the closed gates. Europe burns on the balconies, it burns slammed against the walls. On the barbed wire, lives, clothes, and rocks are hung out to dry. And this eternal coming and going of hisses, of horrors, of agonies, oh mercy. I put the morning in my backpack. In the silence we lose people, their names scream in the grass, each one son of an orphan mother. But from here, from this bird flight view, this world is still home, spring, without languages, without borders, and how blue the sky still is. We all carry a stone on the first vertebrae. And I want to close with a lighter note, very quick. It's for poetry itself, since today it's the day of poetry. Sometimes a word comes along and it's a bright and chatty trail, opening the sky in hypothesis of space, a space-time portal. Sometimes it stays there and I don't know what to do with it. It rests on my head. I welcome it with my hands joined to make a nest. For me, always the moon. Or maybe it soars into the void. In the seed strewn in the wind, there is already the red taste of apples. Thank you for letting me read.
The name of the poem I'm going to read tonight is Request for Following Number 2. I wonder why so far didn't you open the case? I am always good with you all. I take care how I behave with the department, which is constantly around. I am accustomed to this for a long time. The landscape around us is fully filled by you. Although rarely does anyone know that, but I am the one who long ago with you have coalesced. I know you. That distant voice is a voice for salvation of the tidy citizenry, which simultaneously must be up, pushing down while. Separation, even more important, is from taking off where the untrimmed wings are most important. How do I recognize which ones are yours? Although soon polyester you all wear, you do it as it was made of silk and leather. A bit manners, village city migration, show from where you are, but I'm from the capital. Nowhere you can run away anymore. The bastard should be in jail, me he undermines. I wonder why so far didn't you open the case? Thank you, thank you. And I want to ask if we missed anyone, please feel free to join or turn your microphone on and tell us and join the reading if there's anybody else. Thank you.